Hello, dear friends, with you Naya. Many of you really like the mod for weapons from MrCrayfish, aka Crayfish. But for sure not everyone knows that there is a very cool clone for him, which is called a mod, that works exactly the same as Mr. Langist's mod. So I'm not going to introduce you to the basics. Moreover, you can always follow the link and see my detailed guide on this topic. Of course, in order to play without Dawn, you must install the main mod, MrCrayfish's GAN mod, as well as an additional library, and Obfuscate, otherwise nothing will work. As always, I will leave links to all mods in the description under the video, and if you still don't know how to install mods, then in this case I also have a video recorded. It's there at the top. There is a link to the guide on how to download and install mods. So, the Mod Time Classic Haunts exists for the version of Mine 1.16.5 and adds a lot of new weapons to the game with very cool models and textures. All weapons are divided into several tabs by type of weapon. At the moment, there are pistols, submachine guns, assault rifles, sniper rifles, as well as shotguns and heavy machine guns. All weapons have unique characteristics, such as recoil, ammo scatter, and so on. So now, if you aim at the same place, the bullets will not arrive at the same point, but with some scatter. By the way, the recoil throws the weapon not only vertically up, but also shifts the barrel horizontally, that is, to the side. Moreover, each type of weapon has a different scatter. In my opinion, this gives the shooting more realism. I think fans of weapon mods will appreciate this innovation. Another fuse was added to the weapon. It is also an automatic fire switch. Now, taking any weapon in your hand, the cartridge icon will be displayed at the bottom right, above the weapon icon, and depending on how the icon looks, it will depend on which mode the weapon is currently in. By default, weapon modes can be switched with the Russian key P, English G, but this can be changed in the management settings, right here. The green crossed out cartridge means that the weapon is on the safety and it will not be possible to shoot from it. Yellow cartridge means the mode of firing single cartridges. But if the icon shows 3 red cartridges, it means that the weapon has been switched to automatic fire mode and can fire bursts. Naturally, not all types of weapons support the choice of mode between a Q and single shots, but everyone has a fuse. By the way, all weapons have completely different and very realistic sounds of shots. Just listen to this. In addition, if you look at the player from the outside, the weapon is very cool in your hands, and depending on the type of weapon, it changes its position. For example, a player will hold a machine gun with 2 hands and a pistol with only 1. During aiming, the hands also change their position, which, by the way, is not present in all mods. The weapons in the add-on are created in exactly the same way as in the main fashion of Mr. Langist. There is even a workbench for this. It looks just gorgeous, however, like all the weapons added to the mod. His craft is like this. To craft a weapon, go into the chair and see this interface. We have met with similar types of interface more than once. It is very convenient. Choose the weapon you need, ammunition, or a body kit that you want to craft. With these arrows, you can immediately see what resources will be needed. Well, you can also add a die. However, the painting is a little tight at the moment, because the painting is not functioning yet. That is, the die is consumed, but for some reason, the trunk is not painted. As for the sights, they can be painted. If you hold the sight in your hand and click on the English Z Russian I, the painting interface pops up. Here we see 3 slots. For the scope body, for the lens holder, and for the aiming point. The body of the sight and the dot is painted, but the lens holder is not very good. To paint the optics, you need to decompose the dies into its slots and exit through an escape. The optics themselves in the inventory will not seem painted, but when you install it on the barrel, it will be displayed in color. To improve the characteristics of weapons in fashion, there are several types of sights, underbarrel handles, and even a light butt. To install such a body kit, you need to take a weapon in your hand and press the Russian key I, the English Z. This opens a window in which you can install the appropriate upgrades. But keep in mind that not all weapons can be fitted with any body kit. If the cells are crossed out with crosses, it means that it will not be possible to install this type of improvement there. At the moment, most of the body kit can be installed on assault rifles, but it is not yet possible to hang even a sight on pistols. But I hope the developers will fix it. At least they promise to develop the mod, and they even put up screenshots of the weapons they want to add. There's even my favorite Gatling system minigun. He looks just bombastic. They also did not forget about the revolvers and the Thompson machine gun. With sights, I think you already understand everything. They just zoom in on the view. I talked about this in more detail in the fashion review, MrCrayfish's GAN mod. Well, with the handles and everything else, you will figure it out yourself. The only thing worth mentioning is that all body kits can improve something, but at the same time, they can do something worse. To understand exactly how the body kit will affect your weapon, you need to hover the cursor over it. Then under it you will see a hint of what exactly this body kit adds and what makes it worse. So I will not dwell on this in detail. That's unless it's worth adding that this adds is aim-down sights, a term that refers to first-person shooters and means aiming directly. And we'd better look at the enchantment books right away, which are also able to improve the parameters of your weapon in some way. By the way, these are books with exactly the same enchantments as in the fashion of Mr. Langjoust, and they are added to the Otten only because the enchantments from the main mod are not superimposed on the weapons from the Otten, or rather, they overlap but do not work. So let's look at all these enchantments. The first book is called Fast Hands. By applying such enchantment to your weapon, you will be able to reload it very, very quickly. Then, there is the enchantment of the index finger, and this enchantment increases the speed of fire in automatic firing mode. The lightweight enchantment is designed primarily for heavy weapons, and it allows you to aim a little faster. The next enchantment is called a lumbago, and in fact, it gives your bullets armor-piercing properties. That is, you can shoot through enemies. And if there is another enemy behind the enemy, then it will be possible to kill him with one bullet. By the way, I experimented with this cup, and I managed to simultaneously kill as many as 5 zombies lined up in a row. I think maybe this is not the limit. You can try it yourself, and then write in the comments how many goals you managed to shoot through. I wonder if there are limits on the number of targets hit, or if a bullet can hit an infinite number of enemies. Extra ammunition. And this enchantment increases the maximum number of rounds loaded into the weapon store. Chariots up to a maximum of the 3rd level. And it seems to me that this is a very useful cup because it significantly increases the ammunition of your weapon. So now it will be possible to charge it much less often. Enchantment returned. Enchanted to the 2nd level and allows you to save ammo. That is, a weapon with such an enchantment will have some chance of not spending a cartridge. Naturally, the higher the level of the cup, the greater the chance. Enchantment and Accelerator apparently accelerates the flight of the bullet, which somewhat increases its damage. penetration, and this spell gives a random chance of dealing increased damage. By the way, please note that headshots work in this fashion. That is, a shot to the head does more damage than a shot to the torso. Let's experiment a little for clarity. The weapon enchanted on the cup of the arsonist, as it were, begins to shoot incendiary bullets. That is, it is able to set fire to enemies and even blocks. That's probably all that can be said about this auction. I really liked him. The models of weapons are worked out no worse than in the same fashion in UFA, and considering that this mod loads your computer much less, even players on weak PCs will be able to play it. Well, I wish the developers good luck in developing the mod. Well, from you, my dear friends, I am waiting for comments about this mod, and of course, a well-deserved like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. There are many more interesting mods waiting for you. Well, that's all for today, and see you soon. Bye-bye.